Hi, today we're going to talk about loans. So, reasons to borrow money can include financing larger purchases such as houses, cars, getting renovations done to your home, or paying for your education. Or you can look at stocks and bonds and investment portfolios. So, a common way to borrow large amounts of money is to take out what we call a personal loan. The process of repaying a loan with a series of regular payments is what we call amortization. All right. Interest is calculated on the remaining balance on the loan. So the interest will slowly decrease as the loan is repaid. And that is because as you pay your loan down, the amount that you have to pay overall will decrease, which means that the amount of interest that you have to pay will decrease over time as well. So the way that you can find the interest paid is that you have to take the total amount of repayments and you subtract the amount of money that you have borrowed. So when we calculate repayments, we can use the TVM Solver just like we did with compound interest and inflation and depreciation. So we already know what the variables mean, and if you need to, pause the video to go back over what each part means, and then we can get into some examples. So let's look at example 1. It says, Dakota takes out a personal loan of $21,500 to buy a car. She signs a loan agreement for 5 years at a 4.25% interest rate. Okay, so we need to put what we're going to put in the calculator. We need to write it down. So it says she took out a personal loan of $21,500. So because she took out a loan of $21,500, the bank gave her that money. So that is how much money she currently has. So we're going to put that PV is $21,500. So that is our PV. And I'm going to go ahead and go to the TVM Solver. And then I'm going to go ahead and type that in there too. All right. Next, it says she signs a loan agreement for 5 years. Okay. She signs a loan agreement for 5 years. So if that is the case, then our N is going to be 5 times 12, because when you're making monthly payments, we have to have 5 years of 12 payments, which means you're going to make 60 payments total. Okay, so N will be 60. It says the interest rate is 4.25%. So we just do 4.25. Put that in the calculator as well. As of right now, we do not know what the payment is. For the future value of her loan, she wants the future value to be 0 because the goal is to pay it off. And then the amount of payments per year or periods per year is going to be 12. And that means the compounding part is going to be 12 as well. So once you put all of that in, it says that they want us to calculate the total repayment. Okay, so if I want to calculate the total repayment, what this means is I need to figure out what the regular payment is. So if I go to the payment and I hit alpha enter, it will tell me here that my payment would need to be $398, and of course we round up 39 cents. All right, so that is what we need to do here. So as you can see here, the monthly payments will need to be $398.39. You always want to round up when you're paying bills because you'd rather be safe than sorry. So now it's going to ask us, what is the total interest? What is the total interest charged? So if we want to figure out the total interest charged, we have to figure out how much money did you pay in general. So we can leave out of it by pressing second quit or second mode and get back to the main screen. What we have to do here is we have to figure out, if we want to find the interest, we paid $398.39. We paid that for a total of 60 months. And if we calculate what that is, we get 398.39 times 60. That will give us a total amount paid of $23,903.40. All right. So remember, the interest is what you paid extra. So in order to find the interest, you have to take $23,903.40 and you have to subtract the amount that you borrowed, because your interest is how much extra you paid. So we paid $2,403.40 in interest. That is how much we paid. All right, let's look at example number 2. Malik takes out a $15,000 loan, okay? So let me go back to apps, TVM Solver. It says he takes out a $15,000 loan, so that means he has $15,000 to spend, so it's a positive $15,000. It also says that he's going to repay it over 3 years. The interest rate is 6.9% and it's compounded monthly, every single month. So when I put in my interest rate, it's going to be 6.9. So I type in 15,000 for PV, 6.9 for the I, and then for the number of payments, you're going to pay the payments every month over 3 years. So that is a total of 36 payments. And I got that from doing 3 times 12. 36 total payments. We already know that we want the future value of the loan to be 0 because we don't want to owe money. Make sure you put your future value as 0. And then, of course, the periods per year is 12, and so is the compounding part of the interest is 12. So if we want to figure out what the payment is, we scroll back up over payment, and then we're going to press alpha enter, and we end up seeing that our payment was equal to $462.48. Remember, you always want to round 1 cent up because you will rather be safe than sorry. So this is the payment. It says find the outstanding balance on the loan after 1 year of repayments for part B. So if we want to find the outstanding balance on the loan, we're saying after 1 year. What that is saying is if we made 1 year of payments, that means the number of payments will have been 12. The interest rate is 6.9 still. The present value of the loan is $15,000. We already know that our payment is $462.48. So remember, your payment is how much money you're spending. So we're going to put that as negative because that's money going out. So we got negative 42.48. Then we don't know what the future value is because that is basically how much we owe, what's the balance. So we don't know what FV is for right now. And we know that the PY and the CY are going to be 12 because it's 12 months in a year. So I'm going to enter that information in. So I get 12, 6.9, 15,000. The payment, I'm going to make sure I put it as negative 62.48. We don't know FV, PY, CY stay the same as 12. So my FV is basically what amount do I have left to pay. So when I press alpha, enter, I see that we have $10,339.69 left to pay on that loan after 1 year of payments. If you have any questions, please let me know, and I will be more than happy to assist you. Have a great day.